Well, last week's podcast, we had gone 0-2-1, and I waited until Monday night because the trade deadline. Well, Vegas Golden Knights fans, welcome to the Stone Age. Yep, 4-0 since the addition of Mark Stone. Is it a coincidence? Or do we got our swag back?
Welcome to Knights Nation, an unofficial podcast discussing all things Vegas Golden Knights. A show designed for the fans, by a fan. Produced locally in Las Vegas, Nevada, home of the Fortress. Weekly episodes include segments Numbers Don't Lie, VGK Rewind, and What the Puck. And now, here's your host, the VGK Bug-Eye Guy.
What's going on, Vegas Golden Knights fans?
And welcome to episode 33 of Knights Nation Podcast. My name's Nick, the VGK Bug-Eye Guy. Welcome. Mark Stone got picked up last Monday, a week ago today, the trade deadline. And it's kind of worked out pretty good. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights had some tough matchups this week. I'm not going to lie. And in fact, last week I predicted in the podcast there was a good chance that we could win all 4 games. And guess what? We did. You already know. It was awesome. 2 shutouts, back-to-back shutouts for Mr. Marc-Andre Fleury, which earned him number 1 star of the week in the whole NHL. In fact, take a listen to my friends the pundits on the NHL Network, what they had to say about old Flower.
Open steal, centers, Pettersson, stopped by Fleury. Tanner Pearson, sharp angle shot, stopped by Fleury. Here's Goldobin, right in front. Fleury the save. Puck cleared the line. Here's a long shot from the line, deflected, and stopped by Fleury.
Stopped all 19 shots fired his way by the Canucks to earn a second consecutive shutout and his NHL leading 8th of the season. And it's a Pepsi Zero Sugar shutout for Marc-Andre Fleury, who stops all 19 shots fired his way against the Canucks on Sunday as he picks up his second straight shutout. Going back to his start against the Stars last Tuesday, it has been 168 minutes and 47 seconds since the Flower last allowed a goal. Fleury's clean sheet on Sunday is the 8th of the season for him, giving him 2 more shutouts than Andrei Vasilevsky for the most by any netminder this year. The Flower is now just 2 shutouts shy of matching his single season high of 10, which he accomplished in 2014-15 as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
So right off the bat, kudos to Marc-Andre Fleury, but you guys know as well as I do that hockey's a team game. And yes, you can have a goalie that stands on his head and stops everything back there, but you still have to have the players in front playing a good 200-foot game, playing defense, and that's what the Vegas Golden Knights have done. Honestly, since Mark Stone has come to the Vegas Golden Knights, it almost seems like he brought a little bit of physicality and his stick. Oh my God, for the Vegas Golden Knights fans out there that we pay him all this money, he hasn't even scored yet. You're not a real hockey fan. Watch his stick. Just watch the things he does with his stick. The minor poke checks, the knocking out of the air. I mean, there was a couple times this week where he single-handedly kept the puck in the zone and gave us an offensive chance. So with him, the addition, they have jumbled the lines a little bit. I really like what they got going right now with Peary on the 3rd line and Carpenter on the 4th line. It'll be a tough decision when Carrier comes back, but for now, I think the lines are solid. The defense is solid. Nick Holden hasn't been able to crack the lineup because my boy John Merrill's been playing so freaking good. And Colin Miller's still kind of in the Bug-Eye guy's eyes, but he got a goal this week. So, I mean, things are looking up. It's almost like the team's starting to get ready for that final push, that final run towards the end of the season. This is when you want your team to play its best hockey. Sure, you remember at the beginning of the season when we were talking about the Buffalo Sabres and how they'd won 10 in a row and it's incredible and they've gone from worst to first and they're this team's Vegas Golden Knights? Well, unfortunately, reality came. The other teams in the East got better, and back to reality. Now, they're not at the bottom of the standings, but nobody's talking about them. That's a problem. You have to stay consistent in this league. The Vegas Golden Knights have had a couple times this year where we've been kind of down, and then we rise up, and then we're down, and then we rise up. Well, guess what? This now is the perfect time to be kicked down and starting to rise up. That Winnipeg game sucked. We lost. We went up against one of the best teams in the conference, one of the potential playoff matchup teams, and we lost. And we lost 6-3. We lost bad in front of our home fans. And then, of course, the trade deadline happened. Then we got stoned. And the Vegas Golden Knights have rebounded, and they've now got 4 straight wins after that tough loss. Kind of like the beginning of the season when we got our butts kicked by the Calgary Flames 7-2. Yes, Subban played. It was an ugly game. But if you guys remember, and I'm going to tell you the specifics later on in this episode, but we came back and beat them. We shut them out in our house. So, and yes, I'm talking Calgary because that's our next matchup. It's going to be tough. They're the number 1 team in the Pacific Division, but I don't care. So I'm super happy the way the Golden Knights are playing, and I'm glad they're finally getting their you-know-what together, because this is the most important time. I'm sure you guys know by now that the Arizona Coyotes are playing pretty good hockey. I believe as I'm recording this podcast, they're 8 points behind us, but we got 1 game at hand. So we got to watch out. I mean, we did have a big lead, but as other teams are starting to play better, you know, we can't just back off. We need to keep striving for it. They need to keep doing what they're doing. The way they played the last few games have been lights out. Lights out hockey. It's been great two-way hockey, 200-foot game, and we're getting scoring again. That's huge. I mean, you don't score goals, you don't win very many games, folks. And luckily for us, we are fully loaded with offensive talent. Our defense has been playing good. We've been getting great goaltending at the perfect time of the year. Now, let's dive in real quick to that unfortunate segment that is usually full of bad news.
Banged up Golden Knights. Give me the news, Doc. Is he gonna make it?
All right, this week's Banged Up Golden Knights injury report has brought the return of Ryan Carpenter. Yes, Ryan Carpenter is back off the IR, and he's been contributing on the 4th line, which is great. Other news, Eric Holla is back on the ice skating. Now, there's a whole bunch of people freaking out that he might be back by the playoffs, and there's a possibility that he could be back by the playoffs. But with an injury like his, and they haven't exactly said the specifics, there's been a couple rumors out there, but I'm not into the rumor game. So he hurt his knee. He jacked up his knee. We all saw it. We saw the ugly hit. There's no need to rush Eric Holla back if we're playing Golden Knights hockey like we are right now. There's no need. Yeah, it'd be great to get him. It's kind of like Tatar. Remember last year when we had Thomas Tatar? He didn't really play much, but he came in a couple games and had some key points. I could see the team using Eric Howe in that situation. Sure, but no need to rush him back. We want him healthy. Folks, think about next year's team. If we re-sign Wild Bill, think about next year's team with Eric Howe, Stasny, Pacioretty, Stone, Wild Bill, Smith, Marchie. Dude, Peary. Peary will probably go. Belly will probably go. Englund will probably go. But, dude, I'm telling you right now, we could have a totally stacked team, an even better team than I think we have right now, which is crazy. General Manager George McPhee, Kelly McCrimmon, you guys, kudos, man. The team you've built. And, yes, we've given up some draft picks and we've given up some young talent, but it's almost like we kept our first-round pick from the first year. And look at what we got in return. Draft picks are awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan. I love watching the NFL draft and watching who gets picked up in the 7th round and then see if they have a chance. But they really don't. Only a handful of late-round draft picks ever really make the NFL. The NHL is even different because they draft so young, and then the players go off and play juniors or overseas, and there's always a chance they can get injured and never even make it to your team. So I get it. You have to build your core. You have to build your minors, your farm system, so that you can get talent to move up when people get hurt. I get it. But if you have the chance to give up maybe one of those picks that might never work out in exchange to get someone like Mark Stone on your team or Max Pacioretty in the trade before the season, you do it. And kudos to Kelly McCrimmon and General Manager George McPhee, GM, I love you. You've done a great job. And I love your interviews because honestly, GM George McPhee, you interview a lot like I would. You kind of think about it for a second, and then you just say whatever you feel. You just blurt it out there. It's like, well, I got a guy. I got a guy that does that for me. I love it. Your interviews are money. I wish you gave more interviews, but I understand why you don't give more interviews also. All right, this week, the Vegas Golden Knights did not recall anybody from AHL Chicago because we were pretty healthy throughout the week. So that's good. All right, segment number 2. How about a little
random news from around the league?
Yep, random news from around the league, and there's been quite a bit of news in the NHL this week, so I'm only going to pick out a couple of the ones that I feel deserve some time, deserve some Vegas Golden Knights fans' ears, because if I was going to talk about the Kings, none of you guys care about the Kings because we're Golden Knights fans, but this stuff's kind of important. Start off with Ted Lindsey. If you guys don't know who Ted Lindsey is, he's a NHL Hall of Famer from the Detroit Red Wings. He was one bad dude. Hell of a player, tough guy, physical. But all the NHL current players owe a bit of gratitude to Mr. Lindsey because he's the one that really pushed for the NHLPA. He really fought for it. In fact, he got nominated to the Hall of Fame and refused to go because they wouldn't let his family and friends go with him. I mean, he paved the way for a lot of things in the NHL. If you have a chance, go over to YouTube, just watch some of his highlights, man. Amazing. And he played in the era where the NHL was badass. Tough, physical, the fans were brutal. Oh, so kudos to Mr. Ted Lindsey. I think he was 93. Wow, 93, dude. That's money, dude. I hope well, I don't know if I want to live to 93. I don't know. Moving on. Let's see here. Oh, Ottawa fired Boucher as the coach of the Ottawa Senators. Now, here's the deal. The owner sucks. The city's going through some financial issues. And the team traded away all kinds of all-stars. Stone, Erik Karlsson, Hoffman, Turris, Duchesne. The list goes on and on and on. What did you expect was going to happen? You knew you were rebuilding. You knew you were building for the future, and then you shit-canned the coach? That's kind of like a big F you on the way out the door. Like, hey, 2 years ago, we were one goal away from going to the Stanley Cup Finals, and then you traded away pretty much that whole entire team, and then you fired me because we suck? That's just not cool, man, but that doesn't surprise me. Honestly, I feel bad for Oscar Lindberg because that's like the only Ottawa Senator that I know, and he did get a goal in his very first game up there. Kudos to Oscar Lindberg, but I feel for you, dude. You got shipped out of Vegas, a good thing. You get sent to Ottawa, and then you got to pay more money because of taxes, and your coach gets fired, and all the good players were traded away. Sorry, dude. It sucks, but go Nats, go. What else we got on the list? Oh, yeah. Oh, Marc Crawford took over as the interim job up there. He's a veteran coach, coached a long time. Trust me, he doesn't want that job. Let's see here. Ooh, here's some two important things. Jerome Iginla and Shane Doan both retired and had their jerseys, their numbers retired up into the rafters. Iginla went to Calgary. I mean, that's his home. He did play for Colorado and LA for a little bit, but his whole career was Calgary. Awesome. Awesome to see Shane Doan down in Arizona. Now, Shane Doan's a special character because he had the potential to leave a couple times. He could have left in free agency and gone to a team and tried to win a cup, but he was loyal. He was faithful to that franchise, and that franchise has had severe financial issues. The city wants him, doesn't want him. The stadium stay, not stay. Their stadium kind of sucks. It's kind of on the wrong side of town. Been there twice this year to watch the Vegas Golden Knights, but Shane Doan up into the rafters, well deserved. Jerome Iginla up to the rafters, well deserved. How about that? All right, two more things. So there was a huge hit, and I don't know the specific names, but Minnesota, Detroit, where the Detroit player, Minnesota came to hit him. The Detroit player kind of caught him last minute, kind of slammed him down, hit his head right on the bench. Wasn't an area of glass. It was right in front of the player's bench. Messed him up pretty bad. It was a 5-minute match penalty. And I get it. When you watch it in slow motion, it looks really bad. But if you watch it at real time, it's almost like the Detroit player's trying to brace because he knows about to get hit, and it just kind of catches the wrong time, worst case scenario. I don't know if I totally blame the Detroit guy. Now, if you watch it in slow motion, yeah, you can clearly see him kind of grab his head and pull down, and his face just happens to be over the bench. But watch it at real-time speed. I don't know. I mean, yes, they had to do what they had to do, give the penalty, but it's just, it was an ugly play, but it was a hockey play. And that's my dilemma is like, there's just bad luck, bad timing. It's no different than Eric Howla's injury. It was just bad luck, bad timing, and the way he bent back. I mean, it's just, it sucks, but match penalty, I don't know. And then finally, we can't talk about news from around the league without talking about the return of John Tavares to the island in New York. Now, right off the bat, a lot of people were really pissed off about this. Sean Avery, former NHL player, did a video, and he was running his mouth, blah, 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 at fans. You shouldn't treat him like that. He'd blah, blah, blah. Okay. I probably on the side of the Islanders fans, and you guys might be like, well, no shit, bug-eye guy, you're just a big jerk. And no, here's the deal. For you guys that aren't super familiar with the NHL, if you just started watching the NHL when the Vegas Golden Knights came around, we've never had a first overall draft pick before, where you draft the number one overall pick in the draft, and he starts out with your franchise as a kid and then matures to a man and becomes your captain and all-star and badass dude. We've never had that. So since we've never had that, I'm going to use a reference. It's like buying a brand new car. And you love that car because it's your car. And that car is loyal and faithful to you. And yet that car gets you to where you have to go. And that car, it's all you. It fights for you. It does everything for you. This is a very special car. And now your car, after 10 years of being loyal and faithful, is like, dude, you're a good owner, but I'm going to go up to Toronto because I want to live up there with that, and I want to have a different owner. Now, that has really nothing to do with hockey. And you're going, bug-eye guy, what the hell are you talking about? Woo, you're just rambling. But no, it's the same thing. Here's the ultimate problem. Tavares last year, before the trade deadline, had the opportunity to man up and go, look, I'm not re-signing. Do what you have to do. Ship me out of town so that you can get something, i.e. Mark Stone coming to Vegas Golden Knights. Stone told him, dude, I'm not re-signing. And they're like, okay, well, we have to ship him out. We have to get something in return. Otherwise, at the end of the season, he's going to walk. That's what happened with Tavares. Only Tavares didn't tell New York Islanders that he was going to re-sign somewhere else. He said, no, I'm going to stay. I'm going to think about, this is my home. I love it. Giving him a bunch of fluff and BS. Deep down, everyone knows he was going to go home. I mean, he grew up with Toronto Maple Leafs sheets, for Christ's sake. He's from Toronto. He did the Islanders dirty, and in exchange, this past week, when the Islanders hosted the Toronto Maple Leafs with John Tavares, they were less than friendly when he came in. They threw rubber snakes on the ice. They chanted asshole. They taped a bunch of his jerseys in front of the arena so that all the cars coming to drop people off had to drive over Tavares jerseys. They chanted, that's our captain, to the Aho after he scored. A whole bunch of things. And people were like, I can't believe it. They don't have class. And I'm thinking, have you never watched a movie ever based in New York? Do you think all those actors that act that way from New York are just acting? Or do you think that's how they really are? I mean, they're kind of blunt and to the point. I mean, and they were vocal and they were frustrated. The fans were frustrated. The fans of all felt cheated. A lot of you Vegas Golden Knights fans felt cheated when James Neal left and signed with the Calgary Flames. Oh, I love him. No, this is a business. I get why Tavares left, and Tavares had to know coming back into that building on that night for the first time wearing enemy colors, he was going to get roasted. And he deserved to get roasted. He deserved it. He did the town dirty. Sure, the deal between ownership, he doesn't give a shit. As a hockey player, he doesn't care. The fans are the ones that are hurt. All the pundits, all these people are talking about the fans. No, the fans feel hurt. It's like having your first car want to leave you. It's like having a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever you're into leave you. It's like you feel hurt. And the New York Islander fans got done dirty because he didn't tell the truth and they got nothing in return, and then he left. So I get why they did it. Sure, should they chant asshole? There's kids in the crowd. I get it. I use foul language every once in a while. I try not to. I get it. I understand. But if you think that the Vegas Golden Knights are classier, and I'm going to leave that specific topic for the rant this week, but if you think that we would not do that in the same situation, you're fooling yourself. We're hockey fans. I know a lot of you guys like going to the game. Ooh, take pictures. It's so much fun. But you're not really watching the game. Okay, I'm watching the game the whole time. which is why when people get up and walk in front of me when the puck's in play, super pisses me off, and I yell, hockey etiquette, sit your ass down or down in front. Hey, down in front. So I will continue to go to Vegas Golden Knights fans and chant because that's what fans do. And the Islander fans, you guys chanted. You guys don't do it all the time. You held those chants for a specific return of a specific player. It's like your ex-girlfriend coming in and playing with the other teammates. It's creepy, and it had to be awkward for some of you guys. And if you were mad and frustrated and chanted asshole at the top of your lungs, kudos to the Islanders fans. And if you guys listening to this podcast right now disagree with the Bug-Eye guy, guess what? I don't give a shit. No, I don't give one shit. Not one shit, not two shit. I don't care. Because I chant and I yell. I yell, ref, you suck, all the time. Bunch of people around me, no, they don't say that because they don't want to hurt the ref's feelings. Well, if the ref screws us over, like in the Vancouver game with the trip that was right in front of him, or how about the Dallas game, which I'm going to talk about in VGK Rewind, but what about the Dallas game with the goalie interference? How many times have we gotten screwed on goalie interference? This player in particular was behind Fleury. How does that happen? I don't know. And all I can do as a hockey fan is use the vocals that the Lord gave me to scream at the top of my lungs, ref, you suck. Because they do suck. They are biased. Normally, I'm all about it. If the refs want to be the way they are and they call it both ways, fine. They don't call it both ways. That's my problem. Right in front of the ref's face, but then they'll call some ticky-tack stuff on us. I'm going, dude, what are you bought and paid for? I mean, dude, what's going on? They suck. And sometimes you got to chant that. And Islanders fans chanted what they had to do. Us Vegas Golden Knights fans will have to chant what we have to do. Nashville does the ref, you suck. It's all your fault. It's all your fault. What, are their fans have no class? I don't know. All right, that's way too much. There was a lot of news this week. Sorry, I mean, it was a busy week in the NHL. And cool, so last week's episode, I kind of dreaded the VGK Rewind section, but since, hey, we're 4-0, why not a little?
And now, VGK Rewind, a review and recap of last week's games.
All right, folks, welcome to VGK Rewind, and let's dive right in. We got the Dallas Stars, Florida Panthers, Anaheim Ducks, and Vancouver Canucks to discuss. Now, I've kind of changed the format this week. In the past, I've kind of paused throughout each section and thrown a little audio of the interviews, and I've put the audio from the goals. Well, I'm trying to cut back the time on the podcast. Yeah, I know I get a little winded. I talk a little much, and then next thing you know, it's like an hour and a half. So one area of the podcast I decided to cut out a little bit of fluff was the interview. So in all four of these games, I'm going to play about a minute 20 of the goals, the audio from the goals, because, dude, we love goals. And Merrill scored in one of these, so you know I'm super pumped up about that. And then I'm just going to pick maybe one or two interviews to put at the end. I really want to keep it to about 10 to 15 minutes worth of external audio bringing in, but I can't guarantee that. And honestly, if there's something out there that really needs to be added to the podcast and it's going to make it go a little longer, well, you guys are kind of already used to it already, so I'm going to put it in there. All right, let's talk about the Dallas Stars. So right off the bat, the Dallas Stars game, that was the first ever game for Mark Stone as a Vegas Golden Knights. Now, the arena was crazy. It was crazy loud. It was crazy active. Obviously, when you get a brand new player and a huge caliber talent like Mark Stone, the arena was pumped up. And we were coming off of a slump, so we really needed to get fired up. And Mark Stone coming to the team was huge. Now, as I just mentioned, the one goal that Fleury's given up in the last 3 games was bullshit, in my opinion. Another goalie interference call. Now, this time the player was physically in the crease behind Flower. Behind Flower. Come on. I mean, really? And everyone was like, oh, there's no way they're going to call it. And I'm like, dude, it's Toronto, really? Do you not know we live in a town that's all about numbers and odds. What do you think's going to happen? And sure enough, goal counted. We're down 1-0. Mark Stone's debut. I'm going, what the hell's going on? But then Mr. Ryan Reeves showed up. Now, Ryan Reeves didn't contribute on the goal sheet. He didn't score. He didn't get an assist. But Ryan Reeves laid the smack down. He was a wrecking ball out there. He single-handedly got under the skin of like every Dallas Star on the team. Hell, even Marchessault was out there. Like there was a penalty in the game where literally they smashed into Flower. Marchie saw it. Marchie came around the goalie, around Flower, and got into this dude, and then Flower helped him a little bit with his stick, but like body slammed him to the ice. It was awesome. The place went nuts. Cody Eakin, that's another one, dude. He's a little freaking wrecking ball. He's out there hitting people like crazy. This team, we got under their skin, and it was all because Ryan Reaves got everybody fired up. In fact, I'm going to read something real quick from the Dallas Morning News talking specifically about the Dallas game and Ryan Reaves' impact. Ryan Reaves was a problem for the Stars during Tuesday night's 4-1 loss to the Golden Knights. The Vegas forward was physical and intimidating. Sure, he played the second fewest minutes of any Golden Knights player, but when he was on the ice, he was dominant. He finished with a game-high 8 hits and 3 shot attempts in only 10 minutes and 48 seconds of ice time. Reaves knocked star forward Andrew Cogliano out of the game with a punishing hit into the boards in front of the Stars bench. He also pushed Matthias Janmark to the ice during a net front scrum and badgered Jason Dickinson with the hit, then a cross-check to the back while he was on the ice. Reaves, of course, was not called for a penalty. Of course, this is written by a Dallas guy, but whatever. He had an impact on the game, but I think he has an impact every game, said Stars coach Jim Montgomery. He knows his role, plays it really well. Yeah, duh. He was running out there. He was doing his job, defenseman Roman Polak said. Before the game, I talk to the guys. I tell them, just be aware when he's out there and talk. He's good at what he does. Yeah, Polak tried to be a little tough, and then he's like, oh, hell no, I ain't going up against Reaves. Say Reaves is listed at 6'1", 225, and his size is something the Stars had to account for every puck retrieval. That's what I told Miro Heiskanen before the game. If he gets to dump in your corner, just let him go first. It's not worth to go in there and get hit. Here's my favorite one. This is what goaltender Ben Bishop had to say. He said he's a huge body out there. He's a middle linebacker on skates. You don't want to get hit by that guy. I played with him in the minors and St. Louis, and he's a strong individual. He's pretty much a linebacker on skates. Yeah, well, they also talked about the Vegas Golden Knights noise and how loud it was. And yeah, I mean, honestly, that Stars game, it was a 1-1 game and then a 2-1 game, and then we got 2 empty netters. Who scored? Hold on real quick. I got my notes right here. Let's see. So we had Patches. Patches scored twice, which was awesome. Schmitty and McNabb both knocked in empty net goals. And I love it when the D-men back there are like, fuck it. Let's just shoot it. Maybe it'll go in. Because if they don't make it, then it's icing. And then it's a defensive zone face-off where you have to, it's not good. You don't want to ice it in situations like that. But these both D-men are like, nah, dude, we don't score that much. So when we do, especially Nabber, he don't score much, and when he needs to, boom, money. I loved it. Let's see. Yeah, Dallas was pretty much outmatched this game. Our tough physical game really, really made the difference. That, and I think the fans. This game, the fans, it almost reminded me of a playoff game from last year. I mean, they were so loud and into it and just super excited because Mark Stone's first game. Like, the fans really wanted this win. And I think the team really wanted this win. And Mark Stone definitely really wanted this win. And GM George McPhee was like, we really want this win. And you know what? It worked out. We ended up winning 4-1. It was a great game. I wish that one goal that got by Fleury didn't count because of the goalie interference. But you know what? A win's a win, and we'll take it. Here's the 4 goals from the Dallas Stars game.
Around, Pacioretty looking. His wrists are blocked away by Lindell. Miller feeds it down to Tuck. A little backhand pass out of the reach of Stastny, but Schmidt keeps it in. He'll walk it across. Pacioretty, wrist shot, score! Off the post and in from Max Pacioretty. A power play goal, and it's 1-1. Shots are 43-24 in favor of the Golden Knights. In this third period, it's 16-1. Pacioretty fed it in front from behind the net, and the Golden Knights have the lead with 5:08 left. Puck around for Radulov. And watched closely by Schmidt. There goes Bishop to the bench, so the Stars have pulled the goaltender. Schmidt a long range up to netter, scores! Risa and Stastny on the draw. McNabb, an empty net, Ben scores! Right in the center of the net. A minute one apart. Fred McNabb, bullseye to make it 4-1.
I couldn't decide which post-game interview to do, so I figured Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty, who both used to be bitter rivals, Montreal, Ottawa, never in a million years thought they'd play on the same team, let alone be line mates. Here's what Mark Stone had to say following his first game as Vegas Golden Knights, immediately followed by what Max Pacioretty had to say.
How does that kind of change it? You're playing with two veterans after playing with young guys when you're playing in Ottawa.
Yeah, it's different for sure. It's hard to explain. It makes the transition a lot easier for sure. They're kind of allow me to make mistakes and they can cover a little bit. So overall, I'm happy with the first one.
You may have misheard your interview on the ice after the game. Did you say you feel a lot of expectations here already?
No, I didn't. I said expect the unexpected in this city. Yeah, there was a lot of noise. No, they just asked me from the second I got here. It's been a whirlwind. The welcome that I got at the airport to going into the arena today. You see the facilities, the people here. It's been great.
Sorry if you already touched on it, but the battles you had with Max, he said that he wasn't that you had told him you weren't expecting to cheer for one of his goals. What was that like?
It's different. I walked in today for the first time and look at him as a teammate. Never thought that would happen.
Third period, you guys were suffocating them in their zone. What do you think was working so well for you and your line mates?
Well, I think we just kind of stuck to the plan. We made them come 200 feet, forced them to make plays, and I think they started to turn it over, and we really put a lot of pressure on their goaltender. Like I said, I think he got pretty tired in there, and Max took advantage of a sloppy mistake. Feel for you.
Yeah, I know it's pretty much a one-goal game with empty netters, but I thought we played so dominant. I thought our power play was not just the goal, it was really good, and that's an area that we really needed to clean up and get some momentum off of, and that's a good example of we don't score on that 5-on-3, but we get so much momentum off of getting those looks, and we're able to hold them to one shot in the third period. So it was an overall great game, a good one, to have a new guy step in and really find some balance and some confidence in the lineup, and I think everyone felt good.
You and Stone are used to whacking and hacking one another, and that Montreal-Ottawa rivalry, and tonight you're on the same line, and you're scoring, and he's hugging you. What's that like?
Definitely different. Probably the guy that we battled against each other the most in the league, but that's just the nature of the sport. There's no bad guys really in this league. So coming in the room, first thing we said is, no more battles. We're on the same side now. When I scored, he also said to me, I never thought I'd be cheering for one of your goals. So just the nature of the sport. He's a great guy, and he's going to be here for a long time. I'm really looking forward to playing with him.
Yeah, on the 5-on-3, you guys you played catch for a ton of that time, and he reads the ice, you read the ice. It looked really like you'd been doing that together for a long time.
Yeah, that's probably the best 5-on-3 I've ever been on in my life, and we weren't able to score, but we had probably 3 backdoor plays that could have so easily gone in. So it's something that we've worked on a lot, even this past couple days in practice there. So being able to be on the same page of that and really move the puck around could have been
honestly, I feel there's going to be some chemistry between those two players, and once they get some more game time and ice time and practice time, they're going to be good. And especially with Stastny, that can be a huge line for the NHL, let alone the Vegas Golden Knights. All right, so that was Dallas. So we're back in the winning column. We want to know. It's like, okay, what do we got next? Well, we got the Florida Panthers. Now, the Florida Panthers are coming back to our house. They beat us in their house. After we lost to Carolina, we went down to Florida. We lost. It was kind of a dark time. We were struggling. We couldn't really get the mojo. But, okay, now they're coming to our house. Subs is in net. Some people are freaking out. I'm like, dude, Flowers playing tomorrow. It's back-to-back. Of course, Subs is playing one of these games. Why not have him play Florida? And it was some stupid penalties at the beginning, followed by the Mike Hoffman show. Mike Hoffman had 2 power play goals, and it's like the reversed Ovi play. You know how Ovi always scores in his house on the left side? Hoffman was on the right side. Now, one of them, Subs was screened. The other one, Subs, dude, you should have had it, but I get it. It is a nice shot. And this game was back and forth. This game was, honestly, it was crazy. Stastny got a goal literally right off the faceoff and went right in and scored. Let's see here. We got a goal from Riley Smith. John Merrill scored. Yeah. Colin Miller scored. Yeah. And then Riley Smith scored again? Yeah. This game was money. Unfortunately, this game went to overtime. Now, our history in overtime has been kind of this year, not super great, but we don't go to overtime that often. This overtime, the Vegas Golden Knights dominated. We dominated the overtime, just couldn't score. So then it went to a shootout. And I know how you guys feel about shootouts, man. I mean, shootouts are pretty stressful. And our shooter, let's see, Herberdeau went from Florida and Subban saved it. Then Wild Bill went up, and unfortunately Wild Bill got stopped by Luongo. Then Barkov goes. Barkov's another good player for Florida, but Subban's like, no, this is shootouts. I own the shootouts. No, thank you. And then who popped over the boards? Well, Shea Theodore came over the boards. And I know a lot of you guys are going, dude, Shea Theodore, he's a defenseman. You've got Mark Stone, you got Pacioretty, you got Stasny, you got Marchessault, you got Riley Smith. You've got a whole bunch of people you'd do before Theodore, right? Dude, we have Coach Turk. We got Coach Gallant. You know what he's thinking? He's going, I got a hunch. Hey, Shea, you want to go? Shea hops over the boards and makes a beautiful backhand goal. Beautiful goal. Now we're up. So now it comes to Trocheck. Trocheck hops over the board for the Florida Panthers. Now this is it. If Subban can somehow stop Trocheck, the Golden Knights win their second game in a row. And that's exactly what happened. In fact, take a quick listen right now to all 5 goals for the Vegas Golden Knights, as well as Subban's save on Trocheck to ice the game.
Only Martin Brodeur played more. Here's Stastny, and he scores! Right off the faceoff! Paul Stastny goes 5-hole on the Luongo to give the Golden Knights the early lead. Merrill settles the bouncing puck. Marchessault down low. Smith put it between his own legs, and he scores! A beautiful goal for Riley Smith. Through his own legs, through Luongo to get the Golden Knights within 1. Playing it out high. Theodore shakes his way free. Here's Merrill walking in. Shot! Score! John Merrill let it go. William Karlsson was in front. And the Golden Knights from 2 goals down to tie the game.
The blue line it's been really just grown as the season has gone by.
Miller drive! Score! Right off the faceoff! Colin Miller rips it home. And the Golden Knights lead 4-3. Theodore to move it up ahead to Smith. He'll make his way to the Panther end. To the circle. His shot. Score! On the delay penalty. Riley Smith beats Luongo glove side. Shea Theodore. 0 for 2 this season. Right down the middle. Backhand score! Check 2 for 3 this year. Looking to extend it for Florida. Coming to the net. Backhand. Saves Subban. And the Golden Knights win 6-5 in a shootout.
That was a huge win for the team. That was a huge confidence boost, especially pulling out getting the 2 points at home. That's important. And now the Vegas Golden Knights are 2-0. Now they got to get on a plane and fly, I don't know, about 37 minutes in the air from McCarran down to Burbank, or they probably went to LAX or John Wayne. Either way, they went down to LA to take on Anaheim Ducks. Now, I say LA, Anaheim, depending on, it's the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I don't know how that makes sense, but okay, they took on the Anaheim Ducks. They went to Disneyland, folks. The Honda Center's right across the freeway from the happiest place on earth, unless if you hate kids or don't like people or a bunch of people like nuts to butts. People don't understand personal space at places like Disneyland, and it's all super expensive. So, sorry. Wife was just talking about going to Disneyland, got me all fired up and a little agitated and scared and nervous. I'm just kidding. So we take on the Anaheim Ducks. Now, folks, Anaheim Ducks have already shit-canned their coach. They already fired their coach. They're a mess. And I feel bad. It's just, no, I don't feel bad. I used to be a Kings fan. I despise the Ducks. It's besides the Sharks, it's I hate the Ducks. They suck. I don't like Corey Perry, and I saw that Corey Perry's back, and he still wants to be that agitator, but he's like old and slow and banged up now, so I don't like him. Getzlaf was out, but I don't like Getzlaf. Gibson came back. Their all-star goalie just came back to play the Vegas Golden Knights, and welcome back, buddy. I'm just not a fan of the Ducks. They're old and slow. And the Vegas Golden Knights went in there and played night hockey. Were they a little sloppy at times? Yeah, but I think they were just trying to keep pace with the Ducks. Here's the cool thing about the Ducks game. Sure, Wild Bill scored a beautiful goal on a pass from Mark Stone, which was his first point as a Vegas Golden Knight. Beautiful goal. Beautiful pass. But we got to see the return of Alex Tuch. Now, some of you guys are going, Bug Guy, what are you talking about? Tuch's been there. Have you watched his game lately? I don't know what's wrong with Alex Tuch, but over the last 5 or 6 games, it's just been just a little bit off. The puck bounces just the wrong way, or he comes in and loses it, or passes it back to someone who's not there and it gets a turnover. He's just been a little off. But in this Anaheim game, it's almost like you saw a little extra spark, like Tuch really, really wants to break through the slump. And he had a beautiful pass coming in hard on the right side like he always does because he's using his size and his speed and his reach. Comes in, goes 5-hole on Gibson, breaks the 14-game goalless streak, and Tuch, yeah, back in Anaheim. Tuch, yeah. Everyone was pumped up. My wife was like, Tuch, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, Tuch, yeah, which was good. And then, of course, we got an empty net goal to make it 3-0. Now, this empty net goal was unlike most empty net goals. If you didn't watch it, shame on you because you should watch all Vegas Golden Knights games. But if you didn't, Eakin, I forget who dumped it. Maybe it was Carpenter. I think it was Carpenter that dumped it down. Now, Eakin's rushing. He's all alone. It's an empty net, but he really has to hustle to get to the puck. By the time he gets to the puck, I swear he's almost abeam the goal. And he snipes it at a terrible, terrible angle and hits opposite side, top right corner, boom, in, empty net goal, 3-0. It was beautiful. Take a listen right now to all 3 goals that our Vegas Golden Knights scored against Anaheim Ducks.
Kessler. Now Stone again. Cross to Carlson and he scores! Great look by Mark Stone to William Karlsson, and Karlsson put it into an open net. That's the first point as a member of the Golden Knights for Mark Stone, and it's 1-0. And now a stretch pass to Tuch. He's got a step to the net. Backhand score! Alex Tuch got behind Gooley, and he buries it on the backhand to end a 14-game drought, and it's 2-0 Vegas. And Carpenter feeds it to Belmar. He's going to eke it up ice. He'll backhand it towards the corner, and Eakin scores! Into the empty net as the Golden Knights fans in Anaheim celebrate. It's 3-0.
Since he got his first ever point as a Vegas Golden Knight, I guess we got to hear from Mark Stone. Here's what he had to say following the 3-0 victory against the Ducks.
First point with the Golden Knights and 3 wins. Going pretty well.
Yeah, no, it's been good so far. The team's playing well. It's nice to contribute. We're trying to be an offensive guy. It's nice to get on the board.
On the power play, it looked like you guys have you've found a pretty nice rhythm, a couple goals now in a couple games.
Yeah, we're moving it well. I think sometimes it's tough when you're adding new personnel. I don't know much about the units before, but I think they're changed a little bit. So anytime you can kind of gain that chemistry with a little bit of practice time helps too.
What are the things that I did hear someone asking you about systems the other day, but you've played in a lot of different systems, and it's how long does it take you to kind of really figure it out?
Yeah, it is a lot different. I mean, playing for Boucher in Ottawa, it's a lot of, I guess, technical stuff, whereas here it's more of a go. So, I'm trying to get used to it. I think I'm getting better every game.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Now, we've won 3 games in the Stone Age. The Vegas Golden Knights are playing good. They just shut out the Anaheim Ducks. They're coming back home for a Sunday afternoon, a Sunday matinee game at the Fortress against the Vancouver Canucks. Now, the Vancouver Canucks are a little down in the standings this year, but they still have a glimmer of hope, I guess, which they really don't, but they do. And they've got a young team. They've got Elias Pettersson, Bo Horvat. They've got a good team. Brock Besser, good young team. They got Markstrom in net. Markstrom's a proven veteran. He's played a lot of games, made a lot of great saves over his career. They just traded for the ex-King Tanner Pearson. They're coming to our house. We're 1-1 against the Vancouver Canucks this year. They come into our house. Sure, they try and play a little tough, a little physical for a little bit. Nah. Marc-Andre Fleury's in net. And the Flower is in the zone. This game, the coolest thing I think about this game, the thing that had the VGK Bug-Eye guy so freaking ecstatic. I was at the Fortress in Section 217, and this is the first game in a very, very, very long time that I, Nick, the VGK Bug-Eye guy, did not scream, Ed Bernstein sucks, because the Vegas Golden Knights did not take a penalty in this game. Not one penalty. Oh, Lordy. Good Lord. Mind blown. It was awesome. That was That was good. Of course, Pacioretty scoring a goal was good. And Ryan Carpenter scoring a goal, that was good. And then Riley Smith scored a goal, and that was even better. I mean, it was just goal. You can have a goal. You have a goal. You have a goal.
Marchessault on a loose puck. Now Smith wide open and he scores! Shot up by William Karlsson. And backhands it out in front. And it's played away out of the crease. Theodore's wrist shot. Blocked. Carpenter chip. Scores! Ryan busting down the wing. Slams the brakes on. Pacioretty drives. Score! Next Pacioretty from Nate Smith.
It was 0-0 after the first period, but honestly, the Vegas Golden Knights should have been up like 3-0. And then in the second period, they were up 3-0. And then the third period, I don't even know if Vancouver had a shot on goal. I mean, they must have had maybe a couple in the whole period. It was just pure domination by the Vegas Golden Knights. And again, 48 shots on goal. I mean, Markstrom was money. Markstrom was huge. We say that every game, but that's because our Vegas Golden Knights take so many shots. There's so many games with 40-plus shots on goal. Some teams don't even get like 20 shots on goal. I mean, this game was a statement game. This was the Vegas Golden Knights saying, you know what, we're back. We got our swag. We're ready for the home stretch. We got Mark Stone in the lineup now. We've got Peary back in the lineup playing on the third line. We've got consistent D-men back there. Flowers playing good. Subs is playing good. The Vegas Golden Knights are fired up, dude. And honestly, this was a huge, huge week for the Golden Knights. This was a huge week for our fickle fan base. This was good, especially coming off the trade deadline. So, yep, 4-0. So you want predictions, right? Well, first, let's go right into the next segment. A little
What's on tap? A ridiculously fast preview of next week's Vegas Golden Knights games.
Well, what's on tap for next week? Well, get ready for some good old "Oh, Canada." Because our Vegas Golden Knights, sure, we got a game at home on Wednesday against the Calgary Flames, but then we're taking a trip up to old Western Canada, and we're not going to Edmonton, but we are going to Calgary and Vancouver. Now, here's the thing, folks. We just played Vancouver, and we're about to play Calgary on Wednesday. So the next week or so, all we're going to talk about is Vancouver or Calgary, and here's my notes. So this Wednesday at the Fortress, Vegas Golden Knights are taking on the Calgary Flames. Now, the Vegas Golden Knights are 1-1 against the Flames, and as I mentioned earlier in the show, they beat our ass 7-2 in their house on the 19th of November. And then we shut them out on the 23rd of November, 2-0 in our house. So we're 1-1, and that game had Subban. We're kind of sloppy. We didn't have Schmitty back yet. That was a crappy game. So they are first place in the Pacific Division, and as of right now, as I'm recording this, the Calgary Flames are 41-17-7. They got 89 points. They're led by Johnny Hockey Gaudreau, who has 30 goals and 53 assists. He has 83 points already. Lindholm, Monahan, Kachuk, Giordano, all four of those players have over 60 points. They're a fast and explosive team and should be a huge test for our surging Vegas Golden Knights. And I know some of you guys are thinking, dude, what about the real deal James Neal? He's a Calgary Flame. All right, real deal's got 5 goals and 15 assists for 20 points. So he hasn't really done much for him. All right, then we got Saturday the 9th of March at Vancouver. So we just beat Vancouver 3-0 in our house yesterday on the quick trip up to Western Canada. It'll be tough, but as long as we keep Brock Besser, Elias Pettersson, and Bo Horvat in check, we should not have an issue. I just said this. Markstrom played great game yesterday at the Fortress, and I expect him to play good in front of his home fans. It's going to be a similar style matchup to, say, the game yesterday. If you hit him, play tough, physical, and score goals, you can beat him. So that's the Vancouver game on Saturday, March 9th. Now, on Sunday, a back-to-back, the Vegas Golden Knights are taking on, Calgary Flames. We play Calgary twice this week. As I just told you, I can't say nothing because I'm recording this prior to this Wednesday game. So 3 games next week, Calgary, Vancouver, Calgary. I think we go 2-1. I think we split the series with Calgary, and I think we beat the Vancouver Canucks. Now, sure, I would like to go 3-0 and make it a 7-0 in our last 7 games, but I think it'll be tough to beat Calgary in Calgary. It just depends on how we play this Wednesday. Obviously, if we beat their ass on Wednesday and just play really tough, then we can go 3-0. But either way, 1 game at a time, and that's what's on tap for this week. All right, why don't we dive right into a little bit of, you guys love this segment, don't you?
Get ready for Numbers Don't Lie, the segment of the podcast where your host is about to bore you with player and team stats that you probably won't remember.
All right, folks, welcome to Numbers Don't Lie, that segment where I go over a bunch of boring stats that you guys really don't care about. But here, let's dive right in. Vegas Golden Knights are 22nd on the power play. That's not that good, but it could be worse. We're 6th on the penalty kill. That's huge. We're 4th with penalty minutes. That's not good stat to have, but it is what it is. Hits. Congratulations, Ryan Reaves. You have officially passed William Carrier for the most hits in the NHL. Now, I love Carrier. I love this stat. Unfortunately, Reaves has played 66 games and Carrier's only played 48 games. Carrier has 247. Reaves, as this recording, has 254. Now, I'm not saying Carrier can't come back, stay healthy the rest of the season and outpace the hits and beat Ryan Reaves, but Carrier, this was your stat all year. The only reason I follow this stat was because of you, William Carrier, and I need you to get healthy. Now, rumor is it's not his shoulder. He got injured by taking a hit or a puck to the hand or the arm, but rumor is he's skating and he could be back soon. So he has a chance to pass Ryan Reaves, but I'm kind of bummed about that. Let's talk about the team numbers, because you know how I just mentioned about Calgary, how there's all those players with 60 points? Well, Mark Stone, the newest member of the Vegas Golden Knights, has a total of 63 points. 28 goals and 30 of 5 assists this year for 63 points. He's the only player. Next up is Marchie with 46, Alex Tuck 44, Wild Bill 41, Riley Smith 39, Pacioretty 35, Eakin 33. I mean, Our numbers are spread out, which means our third and fourth line contribute more, which is good. And those Calgary teams and those Colorado teams like that have those 3 real good players on that one line that score a bunch. If you look at the stats going down, it drops off dramatically, where the Vegas Golden Knights is like a gradual decline. Sure, we want to have guys that score more. Obviously, some guys are down this year. Some guys are doing better this year. We're winning games. That's all that matters. And at least we have one person over 60 points thanks to the trade Monday. Standings-wise, let's see the Central Division. I'm only covering the Western Conference because I don't care about the Eastern Conference. We won't meet that person until the finals. Western Conference, you got Winnipeg, Nashville, and St. Louis. St. Louis has jumped up into the 3rd spot with 74 points. Now, the Pacific, you still got Calgary, San Jose, and Vegas. Calgary's got a substantial, they're 89, San Jose's 86, and Vegas is 77. Here's the number to look out behind. So 69 is what the Arizona Coyotes have right now. So we got to keep an eye on that. Oh, they've got 2 games that we've played 2 more games than them, so we got to watch out for that. Let's see if they win those 2. 73, so we'd be 4 points. We're 4 points, 2 games ahead of the Arizona Coyotes right now for the 3rd place in the Pacific Division. So it's easy. All we got to do is not worry about them and keep playing Vegas Golden Knight hockey and keep winning games, and that won't be an issue. I'm not going to talk about the Chicago Wolves this week because this podcast is going too long already, but I'm not talking about that. All right, what else we got on the list? How about a little...
And now, the good, the bad, and the ugly from last week's games.
This week's good, bad, and ugly. The good, Flower. Back-to-back shutouts. Huge defensive game for the Vegas Golden Knights. It's been great. The bad, it's hard to pick a bad when your team's 4-0. I mean, I could have said Subban's playing the Florida game, but it wasn't really his fault on some of those. So I'm going to go with the power play. And I know we got a couple power play goals this week, but a couple's not enough. The Dallas game, we had a 5-on-3. And we dominated that 5-on-3. It was beautiful. The only thing we didn't do was score. 3 grade A chances. Bishop was huge in those saves. But our power play, we got to start scoring. If we're going to make a run in the playoffs, we got to get this power play clicking. It looks like it's fired up and all the engines are nice and purdy. We just haven't hit the fire button for takeoff. So hopefully that comes soon. But for this week, the bad is the power play for the Vegas Golden Knights. And then the ugly this week is going to go to the refs. The refs, you guys suck. You guys are super biased, and you guys just make fair calls. When you're standing right in front of a player and you see the other guy's stick get into the skate blade, thus Golden Knight player falling over, that is called tripping. Tripping. No tripping. He thought it was a toe pick. Trust me, I'm going to call out a toe pick when I see a toe pick, and that was a freaking penalty. The officials, the Dallas game, the goalie interference, the BS goalie interference. You guys got to get better. You guys got to be more fair. It's bad enough we got to take it from the pundits on every national show. We don't need to take it from you officials anymore. I'm over it. I'm going to start getting all my fans, their lazy-ass fans, to start chanting, "Ref, you suck," instead of being politically correct and being nice to you. I'm done with you zebras. It's a big problem, officials, and you guys need to get it. Fix it. All right, that's it for good, bad, and ugly. I was going to do some funny beep fans say this week, but I'm kind of going to cover that in my final segment, and we're going to dive right into the way I love to end every podcast. You know it. You love it. I call it
What the puck? Seriously, what the puck?
That's right. Welcome to What the Puck. This week's What the Puck is simple. A lot of people have been posting on social media about other teams' fans don't have class. And us Vegas Golden Knights fans would never do that because we're classy. I don't understand how some... Well, I do. I totally get it. Here's the problem. We have a lot of brand new fans to hockey. They're not really fans of hockey. They're fans of the Vegas Golden Knights team. And that's where we come with the problem. We have fans that are hockey fans, and then we have fans of the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, you're probably thinking, Bug-Eye Guy, the Vegas Golden Knights are a hockey team. And yes, but there's two types of fans. You've got the avid, lifelong, love the sport, love the game, watch every play, analyze, love it. And then you got the fans that love the fact that we have a team and our team's good. And that's the truth. That's really how it is. But for all these new fans that aren't really fans of hockey but are fans of the team, they don't like it when we cheer mean things. They don't like it when we say mean things. They don't like it when we say Schmitty had a bad game and Schmitty sucked yesterday. They don't like when we do anything negative about the team. They're also the fans that when we lose, they freak out like it's the end of the world because we lost one freaking game. Like, big deal. It's one game. Who cares? So that's where we come into this problem where people are talking about class. Now, I don't understand the whole class. When I hear like, oh, you don't have class. This is exactly what I think when I hear that. And if I'm profiling anybody out there, I apologize. But when someone says like, oh, that person doesn't have class, I think of like the Titanic. You've seen the movie. Everyone's seen the freaking Titanic movie. And you got the snooty bitches up top wearing their fancy dresses. And, oh, I would never do that. Ooh. And then you got the Jack Dawsons of the world that are down there hustling, making money. You know, that's where the party is. That's where the good dancing is down there with the regular people. To me, those people down there, those are hockey fans. And then you got the team fans up top. Now, if you disagree with me, that's fine. This is my fucking podcast. I'm going to say what I want to say. Take a hard look. There's some fans out there that are Vegas Golden Knights fans that are falling in love with the sport of hockey. That's the greatest gift for getting an NHL franchise, is to get more people involved in the sport, follow the sport, love the sport, buy more sports stuff. I mean, that's huge, and that's great. I have two fans in particular, David, Randy, both you guys, love you guys. New to the sport, ask the right questions. Sometimes say the thing, the Bug-Eye Guy's gonna be like, dude, no, that's dumb, but hey, it's cool. It's cool. Don't freak out. But they are interested in the game, and the game is a very violent, physical, tough game. You think if they were all mic'd up out there, they'd all be, oh, hello, Mr. Ovechkin. Oh, hello, Mr. Wild Bill. Oh, don't hit me so hard. Oh, you have beautiful hair. Oh, you want to get something to eat after the game? Oh, that sounds like a great idea. No one's saying that. They're like, I'm going to beat your ass. And if you hit me again, I'm going to get Ryan Reeves to beat your ass. It's a man's sport, and it's a woman's sport. Women's hockey is awesome to watch too. But the NHL right now is a man's sport, and big, tough, physical players. They're not classy. They fight. This is the only sport other than like MMA, which is actually fighting, where you can take a break from the game, you can take your gloves off, and you can punch the other dude in the face. You don't get assault charges. You get a 5-minute timeout, and then you go back out and keep playing the game. The fans are brutal. Watch any old videos from like the Philadelphia Flyers from the 70s. That team was incredible, and they would wreck you. Smashers and bashers. And that's just how hockey was. So now fast forward to 2019 to our fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, and we got this brand new team with this pretty logo and this big buzz around town, and you got a team that's winning and doing really good, and then when they don't do good, our fans freak out. They're like, well, I thought we were just supposed to win all the time. Or they say, oh, I would never cheer that because we have no class. We're better than that. The Islanders game. Some people were posting about the Islanders game, how, oh, those New York Islanders fans have no class. I mentioned it earlier. No class. They're pissed off. You've just never been pissed off before. Well, we have been pissed off before, but we haven't been able to voice our it's different. The bottom line is class has nothing to do with professional sports, unless if you're into like polo or any of those fancy hoity-toity bullshit things like from Pretty Woman where they hit the pole. I think it's called polo. I don't know, because that's not an American sport. That's not a man's sport. You whack a ball with a stick on a horse. I don't get it. Hockey, tough, physical, badass sport, a sport that I love. I love watching hockey. I love watching all the skilled players. I love it. But if I'm going to drop F-bombs and I'm going to scream and yell because I feel my team got cheated, and some of my fellow fans do the same thing because we feel we got cheated and we need to voice our opinion, have you not watched any interviews and heard that the players can hear us? We're a distraction for opposing teams. It's huge. It makes a difference on the ice. And class, you need to keep your class at the door. You know, folks, just like the movie The Titanic. Jack Dawson, Leo DiCaprio, you know, down there, the bottom class, the free ticket, won in the gambling match. All you got to do is put on a nice suit. You can fool all them knuckleheads up in the higher class section, okay? I can act all proper, and I can also be proper and be like, ref, you fucking suck, period. It's possible. You can be both. You don't have to hide, and you don't, and honestly, for the people that are calling people like me out saying that I don't have class because I chant and yell, well, you fans that think that way, well, you can come see the Bug-Eye Guy in section 217 at any game you go to. I'm there, row F, come say hi to me and tell me I don't have class to my face, and I'm gonna say, go Knights, go. I'm going to leave it at that. Honestly, I don't need to stoop to your level. I'm a aggressive, loud, obnoxious fan. It's my right. In fact, they put it up on the Nitron and tell me to be loud, obnoxious, make noise, do all that crazy stuff. And if you don't like my chants, that's fine. If you think the Nashville chants are mean, that's fine. If you think our chants are mean, that's fine. At the end of the day, no one cares what you think. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. And if everybody's chanting the same thing, well, maybe it's not me, maybe it's you. I'm going to leave it at that. There's no reason to be arguing about class because it's 2019, not 19 or 1700, whatever. Class is bullshit. I mean, that's, what are you trying to segregate us now and be, oh, we're the better fans because we don't yell? Nah, it's bullshit. I'm done. Enough. This is my rant. Class has no place to be in this argument in the NHL fan area, and for people to continue to bash other people because we chant and support and are proud and passionate about our team, yep, you get a big FU from the Bug-Eye Guy. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It is what it is. All right, folks, again, I've taken up way too much of your time. Thank you so much for tuning into episode 33 of the Knights Nation podcast. I really do appreciate it. I was going to do a giveaway this week, but I'm not really set up yet. But next episode, I'm going to do a giveaway. And I kind of explained the rules last week, but I'm going to go over them real quick. I am going to say, hey, this section of the podcast is going to be a giveaway. I'm going to say a specific word, like, hey, this week's giveaway word is blank. And then all you have to do is go to vgkbugeyeguy@gmail.com and just send me an email and say, hey, Bug-Eye Guy, I listen to your podcast. I love your podcast. I subscribed to your podcast. And here's this week's word. I'm going to take all the emails I get, minimum 25 in order to give away the puck or poster or whatever it is I'm going to give away. Minimum 25 entries. And then, yeah, I'm just going to run it through a random number generator, pick the winner, reach out and say, hey, congratulations, you won. And I'm going to mail you a puck or a poster or maybe tickets again. I probably won't do tickets this season since I already gave away a pair of tickets, but you never know. Jury's still out. But yeah. So I'm going to do that probably starting in episode 34. All right, folks, that wraps up episode 33 of Knights Nation podcast. Thank you again so much for tuning in. And I haven't asked you guys in a couple weeks. So if you have a friend that's a Vegas Golden Knights fan that has an iPhone or an Android phone or a computer and say, hey, do you listen to the VGK Bug-Eye Guys podcast? And you'd be like, who's the VGK Bug-Eye Guy? And you're going to tell them, oh, it's this dude that does this podcast. He talks Vegas Golden Knights. He's funny. He's kind of rude sometimes, but overall he's a good dude and his podcast is fun and you should check it out. All I need you to do is tell one person. That one person tells another person who tells another person, and eventually, dude, I'm money. Right? All right. Again, thanks so much. Next week's episode will be released Monday evening because, again, the Vegas Golden Knights have another game on Sunday. Sunday's normally podcast day. Unfortunately, our Golden Knights are playing the Calgary Flames at 6 o'clock, and I'm not going to stay up till like 3 in the morning to do a podcast. So episode 34 next week will be available next Monday. Thanks so much for tuning in. I love you. And as always, duh, Bug-Eye Guy. Go Knights, go. Welcome to the Stone Age. The Stone Age. I don't know. Go Knights, go.
You've been listening to the Knights Nation podcast. For a full recap of this podcast or to listen to past episodes, visit knightsnation.vegas. Your host, the VGK Bug-Eye Guy, is available on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at VGK Bug-Eye Guy and at Knights Nation LV.